Disneyland. In case you couldn't tell from all the merchandise stamped 1955, Disneyland was born in the 1950s, the heyday of futurism. Wartime innovation had brought prosperity to industry in the United States, and the baby boom was just kicking off. New technologies brought new jobs, and the baby boom brought new babies. And when you combine new babies and new jobs together, you need new houses. And thus the suburban age was born. Science, chemistry, and technology were making huge leaps forward, and one of the biggest innovators in the field was the giant corporation Monsanto. In fact, one of the original attractions at Tomorrowland was Monsanto's Hall of Chemistry, right here where Star Tours is now. One of the technologies making huge strides were plastics. Plastics? Yes, plastic. This stuff, kinda. The chemical giant Monsanto realized that 15% of all plastics produced were going into home applications. And like any good mega corporation, they were looking to expand their market share. So they invested some of their Monsanto millions at research. Funded by Monsanto, MIT started a new study looking at all kinds of new ways to use plastics in home construction and consumer goods. This guy knows about plastic. One idea was to create low-cost, prefabricated housing made out of plastic. And so MIT's Marvin Goody and Richard Hamilton spent 2 years designing the house of the future. Monsanto loved the design of the house so much that in 1956 they commissioned a full-scale prototype. Meantime, Monsanto was operating the Hall of Chemistry here at Disneyland. Perhaps through this connection with Monsanto, Walt Disney heard about the proposed house of the future and offered them some prime real estate just off the hub for Monsanto's new creation. Right here between the pathway to the Matterhorn and the entrance to Tomorrowland, 16 prefabricated sections of the House of the Future were put together, offering 1,280 square feet of futuristic goodness. The atomic age design of the House of the Future was so unique that when the prefabricated sections showed up, Disneyland cast members thought they were boats. Boats? Because the house was a showpiece for Monsanto, there was a decided emphasis on plastics. The walls, appliances, the piping, the lighting, the dishes, the flooring, the paints, and even the fabrics for the furniture were all made out of over 25 different kinds of plastic. Wow! People lined up around the block to get a glimpse of the House of the Future. Futuristic appliances and amenities dotted the landscape of the House of the Future. Things like a microwave, adjustable lighting, and a futuristic flat screen television. Other things like easy to clean flooring and futuristic paint were also featured, but not as interesting. Unfortunately, by 1960, many of these futuristic plastics and appliances were being used in homes of the present, which rendered the House of the Future a little bit obsolete, which meant the House of the Future wasn't so futuristic anymore. Wow. Quickly, the team at Monsanto went into action. They repainted it with new, even more futuristic paints that nobody cared about, redid the floors, and updated the decor of the House of the Future. For 7 more years, the House of the Future stayed open here at Disneyland, drawing 40 to 60,000 visitors a week. In 1967, for the opening of New Tomorrowland, Monsanto debuted their new attraction, Adventures Through Inner Space, right here in the same building they have the Hall of Chemistry in. Built with the latest in dark ride technology, Monsanto decided that this new attraction was a better representation of their company than the already dated House of the Future, and so sadly, they let their lease expire. She remembers. She remembers. According to legend, the planned one-day demolition of the House of the Future turned into a debacle when the wrecking ball showed up and simply bounced off the plastic exterior. Depending on which version of the legend you believe, they tried everything from sledgehammers to torches to get this bad boy to come apart, and eventually had to either use chainsaws or hacksaws to cut that bad boy up into small enough pieces that they could throw away in a dumpster. Why would you put our home in a dumpster? Thus, the House of the Future became a thing of the past here at Disneyland. Given its lovely view of the Matterhorn, a new souvenir stand was placed on the old House of the Future foundation, and the area became rethemed as the Alpine Gardens. It actually survived even further in the future when it was transformed in 1996 to Tritons Garden, complete with a giant bronze statue of a half-naked merman. As we all know, King Triton is the father of the Little Mermaid herself, and visitors could meet Ariel inside of a huge clamshell they set up right here. In 2008, the area was due for yet another upgrade and became Pixie Hollow, where you can now meet Tinkerbell and her other less notorious pixie friends. But one of the things that 99% of guests don't realize is that when they pass the entrance to Pixie Hollow, they are passing right by an abandoned remnant of the House of the Future. Long after the House of the Future was removed, the square foundation was hollowed out and turned into a planter. Now, one corner of the planter is still visible to guests today, painted green and sometimes covered with green camouflage material. It's hard to spot, but once you see it, you'll be as excited as I am. Here it is, the House of the Future. I'm touching the future. If you stick your head right into this bush, you too can touch the House of the Future. Futury. Coincidentally, also in 2008, the House of the Future made its symbolic return to Disneyland in the form of the Innovations Dream Home. Constructed inside of here with more millions of dollars, it's meant to represent, again, the home of the future. But of course, that was in 2008. This is 2014, so it's already rapidly becoming the house of the present. My mom wouldn't even let us watch TV while we ate. Now you have to.
Did you find a huge crab yet? No! That's
Well, that was cool, I guess. Mighty Ducks. Thank you for joining me on this journey from the future to the past's future. Or the future of the past in the future. Anyway, thank you for joining me. We'll see you next time. Make sure you subscribe and I'll see you later. Bye-bye!
A grapefruit.